In today's NFL, having a dual threat quarterback is essential to a team's success. And now more than ever, when you look across the league, most of the top quarterbacks in the NFL are dual threat guys. That being said, there's usually one guy who's often left off of that list, and that's New York's own Daniel Jones. But I believe Daniel Jones is just coming into his own, and the New York Giants are just starting to unlock his secret potential. And the secrets to unlocking the best Daniel Jones you can get is calling more run plays, more design runs, more RPOs, and then off of those play calls, sprinkle in a few play action calls, and there you have it. Daniel Jones in his fullest potential. Daniel Jones is a sneaky, elusive kind of quarterback, so when you combine that with the force that Saquon Barkley is, this Giants backfield is automatically elevated. But let's turn our attention to a series of plays against the Jaguars. With Daniel Jones stepping into his own, the RPO has become a staple in this Giants offense. Here the read man is number 91 for the Jaguars, and just to be clear of the purpose for running the read option, is that if the DN crashes down and gets pressure in the backfield, Daniel Jones will pull this ball and sneak to the outside. And if the DN doesn't get pressure in the backfield, like here, then he'd hand this ball to Saquon Barkley and let him take care of the rest. Pick your poison at its finest. But watch how the Giants give Daniel Jones full reign of this offense and just let him read and react. Here on the very next play, the Giants run the same exact play, and having Saquon Barkley in the backfield attracts so much gravity towards him that Daniel Jones could do this all day. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley elevated this offense to a top 5 backfield in 2022, gaining 2,519 total rushing yards. Now mind you, Saquon finished this year 4th in rushing yards in the NFL. Danny finished this season 5th among quarterbacks in rushing yards while finishing 4th in rushing attempts. The next season, I expect to see Daniel Jones hover around that 140 to 150 carries on the year, because he only had 8 more attempts than Lamar Jackson, and he played in 4 more games than Lamar did. And he finished 4 carries shy of Josh Allen, even with Josh Allen battling an elbow injury and candidly talking about being safer. But even though I'd like to see more, Danny definitely has potential, especially when you scheme up multiple looks off of one play. Here the Giants come out in I formation and attempt to run it up the gut for a short game. But this play is meant for observational purposes only. And on the very next play, they come out in the exact same formation, only this time to run a play action. But the Commanders read this play well and they have 7 guys near the ball. But they may have read it a little too well, as it creates a cutback lane for Vanilla Vick, and he's off to the races. Again, schemes and play calling are going to be the biggest keys to unlocking Daniel Jones' untapped potential. This Giants offense improved mightily from last season, as they finished 18th in total yards this season compared to finishing 31st last season. They finished 4th in rushing after finishing 24th last season, and 26th in passing compared to their 31st finish last season. Daniel Jones is known for his versatile play style as a quarterback in the NFL. He possesses solid speed and mobility, and his ability to use his legs to extend plays downfield or using his legs to scramble for 20 yards. Either way, that dual threat ability is what makes Giant fans happy for the development of Daniel Jones. And as you can see, I'm not touching on the passing as much because he hasn't been as consistent as we'd like to see. But the throwing game will come together for Daniel Jones, considering he's never really gotten a chance to get acquainted to a coach's offense. Last season was his 3rd different scheme in only his 4th season. And yet he still managed to finish with a respectable 67% completion percentage for 3,205 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And it's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst either. But when you're dialing up plays like this, you're just making his life easier. Again, utilize Saquon Barkley even when you aren't utilizing Saquon Barkley. Here on this play action, Barkley draws 9 defenders to him, which allows the tight end to sneak out scotch-free. And again, as they often do, the Giants come out in a similar formation and run another play action. But the Bears are surely thinking no way they run back-to-back play actions, and this one has to be a handoff to Barkley. But the Giants come out and run another play action, and again, Saquon draws 8 Bear defenders, leaving 3 back in coverage and none left for Daniel Jones. But every once in a while, Danny returns the favor, and he's able to create a running lane for Saquon Barkley. For instance, here against the Vikings, this play is a touchdown because of the threat that Daniel Jones possesses if he keeps this ball. If Vanilla Vick wasn't a dual threat quarterback, this linebacker's rush would have been more downhill, which would have allowed Daniel Jones to keep it, setting up a 2-on-2 on the outside. But instead his rush is wide, trying to account for Jones and Barkley, only to allow Saquon to run through this hole untouched. And if I were the Giants head coach, I'd try and combine the two. Run as many read options as you can, while also sending Saquon out for as many routes as you can. Keep constant pressure on the defense, and always make them wait a second before reacting. Because as we know, in a league as talented as the NFL is, 1 second can make a big difference. And I know it seems simple, but allowing Daniel Jones to use all of his resources and play freely is the only way to unlock his secret potential. The Giants have talent all over the field offensively, and their wideouts are getting a much needed boost with the return of Sterling Shepard and the addition of Darren Waller. The last thing defenses want to see is Daniel Jones throwing for 200 yards while rushing for another 100 yards. My predictions for Daniel Jones next season is that he'll hover around 130 to 140 attempts on the year, somewhere north of 1,000 yards and north of 9 touchdowns. It'll be a big year for him, but not just him, this entire Giant squad. And if you enjoyed this Daniel Jones analysis, be sure to comment Big Blue, and I'll drop a video over the full team next. Until then, be sure to check this video out, which is all about a man who should be the NFL's highest paid running back. Peace.